We've reached a milestone, not just as a company, but as an industry. All three analyst reports on intranets have listed Unily as a leader. That's Forrester, Gartner, and IDC all calling out our credentials. And I'm joined by Unily CEO Chris Chowry to get his take. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Cass.
How did you feel when you first heard the news that Unily has been listed as a triple leader?
Yeah, I think excited, initial reaction. But it's also, there was a bit of a buildup because you get those one by one.
Yeah.
First Forrester, then Gartner, and then IDC. And I think when you really feel the impact of that across the three, and you think about the honor that our customers are bestowing on us by giving the feedback that they do into those processes, I just feel incredible. And I'm probably first thankful to our customers, and second, super proud of all our employees who've put us in that position.
It's very cool because, as you say, all three came in at different periods of time. And what do you think this says about the energy in the employee experience space at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think it's been building, and I think certainly coming out of the pandemic, and how if I'm a large company or a company in general, how do I optimize for an employee's experience that's been disrupted? Mm-hmm. And I think what you're seeing now with all of these analysts coming out with their own versions of quadrants and leadership and waves is they're basically saying this is important. Executives, C-suites, boards are talking about the importance of employees and how do they increase engagement and alignment and knowledge sharing and social. And so I think it's a validation that I always say this, like if the last decade was about spend and focus on customers, the next one's going to be about employees. And I think this really validates that.
I totally agree. And I really like the comparison you've made there is looking ahead to the employee experience era. So we're coming up on a year at your time at Unily. How does it feel to have immersed yourself in the intranet space?
Yeah, it's funny. First of all, I think our space has gone through an identity journey. Mm-hmm. I could say identity crisis. We talk about Unily as being an intelligent employee experience platform, but our roots are from intranets.
Yes.
And obviously, part of our industry and people's work experience has negative connotations with intranets because they used to be these static places where you went to look for knowledge, but the links were broken, the information was outdated. And I think we've been part of that evolution as you really think about it more holistically as how do we improve a company's ability to align, engage, enable, drive knowledge, and even simplify the lives of their workers, obviously to drive higher overall engagement, better experience, but ultimately to create happier, more productive employees.
Yes. And as you call it, an evolution there, it's kind of moving away from the idea of static information and content to this bigger picture tech built around the best optimum employee experience. And I really love that you're getting to experience this growth and shape it.
It's been a lot of fun. I mean,
so much fun.
Yeah, it's not hard to get excited about employees and having an impact on making employees more successful when we know as businesses, like our two most important constituents are our customers and our employees, not necessarily in that order, because great, satisfied, engaged employees can drive better customer experience as well.
They're constituents of the same equation, right? You need
Exactly.
both. Yeah. There's lots of positivity in the employee experience arena at the moment, and we feel it. But one of the things that's coming out is there seems to be a bit of a winter freeze of budgets towards employee experience. What would you say to leaders that want to maybe overcome that winter freeze and unlock some budget?
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think there's a winter freeze on budgets for employee experience. Mm-hmm. I think in times of economic uncertainty, companies are going to be thoughtful about any investment. Yeah. I think where companies like Unily and our space in general are incredibly well positioned is that there are just an overwhelming amount of statistics and proof points, and the 8.8 trillion problem of employee engagement, almost 10% of global economy lost last year to lack of employee engagement. You're going to address that, and I think you're your boards and your C-level, they're looking at it probably in a few lenses. So they're thinking about, what is our culture around people? What's our people strategy? What are we doing in terms of the physical/hybrid workplace?
Yep.
And they're trying to figure out what are the technology bets they could make that would be the most impactful at driving better experience. So I think while people are going to be thoughtful, I don't think this is an area where you're going to see investment slow down. And we haven't seen that.
Yeah, I agree. And I like the way that you've put it in the bigger context as well, which is that it's not about just employee experience investment, it's understanding the bigger picture of business and how we unlock gains.
Yeah. I mean, I'll throw another stat out that I always find this one fascinating. So, 10% of employee time is spent toggling between applications.
Yeah.
And that's actually gotten worse as we came through the pandemic, because companies were trying to figure out, in this new world, how do we create a better digital experience for employees? On average, they went from 120 applications to about 190.
Yeah.
So what that means for the employee experience is I'm spending time jumping between all these different things. And a solution like ours can bring simplicity to that employee and say, okay, instead of them having to go find out all that information, all those different systems, what if we can bring that information to their one digital front end, their digital HQ, and just make their life easier. If their life becomes easier and they stop losing 10% of their time, you're going to see better productivity, you're going to see better engagement.
That's a crazy statistic there, isn't it? And it goes to show the kind of the complex tech world that exists in businesses, but the way we can kind of strip that back to provide it in a simple experience for employees. What else do you see as the other big opportunities to unlock employee experience?
Look, I think we think about improving the employee experience kind of in 4 dimensions. You want to figure out how to better align your employees.
Yeah.
And 6 in 10 employees today say that they're not aligned to their company's mission. So if I can improve that, you want to better engage your employees. And lots of stats, like I already mentioned, the 10% of global GDP lost to engagement. If I can better engage employees in a conversation, sharing and collaborating better amongst themselves. If I can give them the information and tools and knowledge they need to do their job better, I'm going to move the needle for the employee. And then I mentioned simplicity. More of the key information that they consume in one place is just going to make their life and their work life more productive.
I think that's great. And I think that stat you shared about 6 in 10 employees not feeling aligned with their company's mission is crazy in an era of purpose-driven work. So thanks for sharing that with me. I kind of want to look to the future now. Where do you see the future for Unily in the space?
Yeah, look, I think all these conversations are really interesting, and talking about, in uncertain times, what bets do you need to make as a business? And I think you're going to see people center back to the 2 most important constituents, where they haven't made the right spends and optimize their strategy around customer. They're going to keep doing that. I think because we know that not enough spend has gone into, optimizing for employees, I know that's going to be a big trend in the next decade. And I think increasingly companies that make these bets, make these investments, get the strategy and culture right, figure out how to optimize for hybrid work, and create digital platforms, that drive alignment, engagement, knowledge, enablement, and simplicity. They're going to be the winners. And typically what you see in big moves in the software industry, sort of transformational stages, is you see the people that make the right investments start to differentiate, they start to win, that starts to go to the bottom line, and then the rest of the industry follows. And I think we're very much in one of those cycles with employee experience, and it's pretty exciting that Unily's in the middle of that. Yeah,
you've got a really good blueprint lined out there for companies to make investment. And what's really great to bring this round to the triple leader status is that it's the likes of Gartner, Forrester, and IDC that are identifying the ROI for businesses to help unlock that.
Yeah, I mean, very simplistically, going back to your first question, like, what was your first reaction? When you unpick this, like, what does this mean for a space and what's it mean for Unily? I think these three analysts, Forrester, Gartner, and IDC, that really validates a category. And it's telling companies in the industry, you need to pay attention to this because this investment can deliver significant business value for you. So that's sort of the why this now.
Yeah.
And then naming Unily a triple leader, the only triple leader, is basically saying you need to do something in this soon or now. And you certainly need to look at a company that's considered by the industry, their customers, as the only triple leader in the industry. That sounds biased, but it's all true.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting to be positioned that way.
Yeah, it's clear there's a lot of interesting research like gone into defining the value businesses are getting out of these investments.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for kind of bringing that to us attention. So for employee experience leaders that want to dive deeper into the research and see what the likes of Forrester, Gartner, and IDC are talking about in the employee experience space, then you can download the full bundle of reports on unily.com, or just click through on the video and you can download all 3 reports to get into the detail. Thanks for watching.